Hey there, friends. If you enjoy stories like this, don't forget to follow our channel so you can catch this video and all the ones we've got coming up. We'd really appreciate your support. So, subscribe, like, and drop a comment if you feel like it. The Forgotten Tomb of Pharaoh Pepi. In the land of the pharaohs, one man is searching for answers to a 4,000-year-old mystery. In this dry and barren landscape, a mission is underway to bring an ancient, long-lost kingdom back to life, along with a pharaoh who disappeared from history. For French archaeologist Vassil Dobrev, this is a dream come true. A chance to come face to face with the masterminds of another era. If there are untouched site burials here, he says, maybe there's something even older beneath them. As he uncovers the story of a priest and his family, Dobrev tries to reconstruct the past, starting with the man's life. What unfolds is a tale of family secrets, political conspiracies, and the eternal quest for immortality. The priest's wife was a priestess of Hathor. By following the scattered clues left by the ancients, Dobrev hopes to fill in the blanks in history in his search for the lost pharaoh. Near Cairo, on the west bank of the Nile, lie the world-famous pyramids of Giza. 13 miles away, the very first pyramid, built for Pharaoh Djoser, rises from the Saqqara Plateau. About 2.5 miles further south are more pyramids, forming part of what's known as South Saqqara. During the Old Kingdom, several pharaohs were buried there. Two researchers from the French Archaeological Institute in Cairo, Dobrev and topographer Damien Lesney, are mapping the site with GPS using signals from 8 satellites. Their goal is to document all signs of ancient civilization and maybe uncover new royal tombs. As Dobrev walks the area, he visualizes what it must have looked like over 4,200 years ago. Back then, the king's funerary complex, with his pyramid at the center, was the heart of the region's economy. Daily life unfolded in the nearby valley, and the Nile's rich soil guaranteed plentiful harvests. The entire population served the pharaoh. From officials to servants, everyone contributed to the king's well-being. Elite members of society and their attendants had access to the funerary temple and the pyramid through a covered passage. Today, these structures are in ruins, but they still serve as a kind of roadmap to the past. He believes the site is large enough to hold the foundations of a pyramid that was never completed. If his instincts are right, it could belong to the mysterious Unearthed, the second pharaoh of the 6th Dynasty. This simple theory sparks his imagination. Dobrev believes the pharaoh's engineers once surveyed this spot to see if it was suitable for a royal tomb. They needed the monument to align with other pyramids. Unearthed would have arrived from Memphis, the ancient capital, with his queen and royal court, to oversee the layout of his future pyramid, a structure that would be the most important achievement of his reign. For Unearthed, the pyramid was his only path to eternal life. His wife, transformed into the goddess Seshat, would help consecrate the start of construction. As she breathed divine air into the site, the pharaoh drew strength from her eternal power. Fast forward 4,200 years, and Dobrev chooses a spot to dig, 10 feet down from the site's highest point. He digs layer by layer, descending into the depths of history. His method works. Within weeks, the first significant finds appear. Less than 2 feet beneath the surface, ancient remains begin to emerge, skeletons and a wooden coffin. Next to the adult's coffin, archaeologists find a smaller one belonging to a child. One look at the child's nose confirms it. This is a woman and her child. The coffins are intact and haven't been opened since the burial. A single basket in remarkably good condition lies nearby. The coffins are moved to a safer place, but what seems like a routine find soon sparks curiosity. This is a very good sign, says Dobrev. The coffin dates to the site period. In Saqqara, burials of important individuals from the site era were often placed directly above tombs from the Old Kingdom. That means, well, an untouched site grave here could be hiding something even older underneath. This motivates Dobrev to keep digging, reaching even further back in time. The mud brick structures in this area are about 2,500 years old, same as the coffins from the late period. Soon other tombs appear, When one is opened, mould drifts off the mummy wrappings. All across the dig site, archaeologists continue to uncover skeletons and mummies, revealing the vast scale of this late-period cemetery. New clues emerge, fragments of pottery. Based on shape and material, ceramic expert Laurent Beauvais identifies them as dating back to the Old Kingdom. But there's a big mystery. Why is Old Kingdom pottery mixed in with late-period graves? Days later, a rectangular stone structure emerges, about 20 feet long and 30 feet wide. It resembles another funerary shaft previously discovered at the Unearthed pyramid complex. Near Unearth's pyramid is a shaft over 100 feet deep, leading to the tomb of a high-ranking individual. Because these sites were sacred, elite people in the late period were often buried near their ancient ancestors. Now, at Tabet al-Gisham, Dobrev hopes to find Old Kingdom tombs. When the sand is especially clean and fine, it's usually a sign something lies below. Then they find a pit carved into the rock. Something's definitely down there. Dobrev holds his breath. His instincts were right. He's in the right place. "I can read something here," he says. It says, "The Great God," someone very close to the Great God. They begin the descent. What they see hasn't been touched since it was built. There's his head, and here's his name. They read it Hounifer. One of his titles, Simawati, close friend of the king. Who was Hounifer? Maybe he served more than one pharaoh. Dobrev hopes to find out. Soon a limestone wall appears, covered in hieroglyphs. Dobrev begins to decipher them. Merenre Nefer. That's Pharaoh Pepi I, from the end of the Old Kingdom. Hounifer was a priest who conducted rituals in Pepi's mortuary temple. Now, after more than 4 millennia, two figures rise from obscurity, Hounifer and his wife. From what we know, he served Pepi I, the third king of the 6th dynasty. Pepi's pyramid lies directly behind them. Dobrev wonders, did Hounifer also serve other kings? Could Uzakara have been one of them? To protect the tomb from looters and the elements, Dobrev seals it with a metal cover. Half a mile south lies the ruins of Pepi I's pyramid, his gateway to the afterlife. To live forever, he had to eat and drink even after death. Offerings were brought daily to his nearby temple. This wasn't just a place of worship, it was like a power plant, constantly feeding energy to the pharaoh. Dobrev imagines what the temple may have looked like. Pepi Menefer. Pepi is enduring and perfect, the name of his funerary complex. Priests served Pepi here, and offerings flowed in from across Egypt. Scribes recorded everything on papyrus and stored it in temple archives. Hounifer performed purification rituals and prepared to enter the temple's most sacred space, the sanctuary of the 5 statues. At its center stood a statue of Pepi as Osiris. As priest and ritual guardian, Hounifer spoke the pharaoh's names aloud. May he live forever. Around him, temple halls buzzed with activity as staff prepared offerings. Elsewhere, his wife Huti worshipped Hathor, goddess of love and peace. Back at the dig site, excavations continue. Dobrev notes that some stones from the tomb entrance are missing, possibly the ones that bore Usakare's royal cartouche. Then Bernard Mathieu, director of the French Institute of Archaeology in Cairo, arrives to study the tomb's inscriptions. Another name shows up, Huti, but she's not labelled as Hounifer's wife, only as a concubine. Someone had scratched out her eyes, nose and mouth, which honestly was an act meant to deny her resurrection in the afterlife. So far, Dobrev has found the tomb of a priest, his wife, and now a second woman. But, the surprises aren't over yet. A newly revealed passage shows an ancient collapsed brick chamber. As Dobrev clears sand away from a painted wall, a child slowly appears, facing Hounifer, a boy. And between Hounifer and his wife Huti, a girl is depicted, their eldest daughter, a real beauty. Oddly, her head was scratched out. Behind the couple is another son, also named Hor, just like his father. Outside digging continues. Dobrev now has proof he's close to the long-lost tomb. Multiple rock-cut tombs have just been discovered, suggesting, that many more may lie hidden in Tabet al-Gisham. Back in the Old Kingdom, elite tombs were clustered around the pyramids. Priests, scribes and architects were honoured to be buried near the pharaoh. That may be the case here too. Could a larger monument lie nearby, perhaps Uzakara's lost pyramid? Dobrev is intrigued but knows it's too early for any definitive answers. Still, he hopes the priest's tomb will eventually lead him to the missing king. All of Hounifer's priestly rolls and those of his wife were carefully carved into the stone walls. We can clearly see here that he was privy to royal secrets. Right now, this is the official family Hounifer with his wife Huti, but the second woman next to him is unknown and goes by a different name. She's something else entirely. We just don't know yet. Vassil takes precautions to protect the tombs. A newly built wall now blocks access to what's called the Street of Tombs, which is sealed off with metal covers. Then Vassil and Bernard notice something striking. The name of one of Hounifer's daughters matches the name of the mysterious woman by the doorway. She wasn't just a concubine, that much is certain. So what really happened here over 4,200 years ago? Huti, the priestess of Hathor, may have had help in the temple from her daughter. The wall suggests that Hounifer's eldest daughter may have even replaced her mother as Hathor's priestess. Her father, Hor, had likely given her that authority. Meanwhile, in the temple of Pepi, Hounifer's son assisted his father, and was probably the one who led the funeral rites when Hor passed away. The wall paintings also reveal the couple had 13 children. But why was their daughter's face scratched out? It's possible the culprit was her older brother. With the mother gone, maybe the daughter had stepped into a more prominent role, possibly even as Hounifer's new wife, and her brother just couldn't accept that. These walls have revealed surprising insights into the family drama of an ancient priest. But still there's no trace of the lost pharaoh. Inside Hounifer's tomb, the dome chamber has now been cleaned. At the far end, a burial shaft appears. It might lead to the priest's burial chamber, and maybe even provide a link to the missing king. It's big, possibly several stories deep. But just 3 feet down, a small cavity appears on the western side. For now, I can't see anything, Vassil says. It's full of sand. I expected the shaft to go much deeper. Still, after just a couple of meters, a small passage appears in the west wall. Let's see what this is, he says. I'm surprised. If the shaft isn't very deep, maybe it's a hallway leading to the burial chamber. That's possible, but we'll see. I really don't know. I'm just surprised. Vassil might have just stumbled upon the entrance to Hounifer's burial chamber, but as night falls, he has to stop. The tomb is sealed until morning. The wooden coffin has completely decayed. Nothing else remains. It's a heartbreaking disappointment. This might be the remains of Hounifer, or what's left of them. It seems like he was moved, but they'll check further above the ceiling to be sure. They still have at least another 1.5 meters to dig. The room is about 5 by 2 meters, with a vaulted ceiling carved directly into the bedrock. It now looks like Hounifer's tomb was desecrated at the end of the Old Kingdom, possibly for political reasons. He may have been involved in the conspiracies that brought down the early 6th Dynasty rulers, Teti, Uzakare and Pepi I. Excavation continues. More burial shafts are cleared, some nearly 20 feet deep, but they all lead to the same disappointing result. To continue the search for the missing king, Vassil opens a neighboring tomb. More surprises await. New discoveries come to light. Several small statues belonging to the tomb owner, who turns out to be a reader priest. He's also the father-in-law of Hounifer. His name, found carved on his back, is Khnumhotep, a generation before Hounifer. Could Khnumhotep have served Pharaoh Teti or even Uzakare? Parts of inscriptions scattered inside the tomb came from a doorway lintel. These stones were clearly removed by men on a mission, not thieves, but people targeting specific texts. Missing lintels were carefully broken into 5 pieces, all of which were recovered. Another wall is entirely gone. The bricks were laid row by row, and someone came later to chisel out only specific parts. But why? Finally, thank you so much for listening and joining us on this journey. Don't forget to follow the channel and keep an eye out for future videos. If you enjoyed this, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. We really appreciate